Welcome to This Explainer. I'm so thrilled you're here. As a growth consultant, I see the exact same challenges popping up across communities every single day. And today we're tackling the mid-year occupancy problem in senior care. It's this massive issue that almost nobody is actually naming. But hey, I've got some good news for you right out of the gate. This has absolutely nothing to do with your marketing budget, and it has nothing to do with your admissions team's performance. So let's just dive right in.
Okay, so both teams are working hard. Why are the beds still empty? You probably know the exact feeling this question brings up, right? I mean, your marketing team is doing its job, the inquiries are steadily rolling in, and your admissions team, they are pushing hard. They're working the phones, trying their best to secure those tours. Both teams are practically sweating it out, totally convinced they're doing everything right. And yet, you look at your mid-year occupancy numbers, and you just have to wonder, why are the beds still empty? It's literally the central mystery plaguing so many communities right now.
Section 1, the mid-year occupancy mystery. Let's really unpack this disconnect. That gut feeling you have that your mid-year occupancy numbers are completely divorced from the actual on-the-ground effort your teams are putting in, that feeling is incredibly common, and honestly, it's completely valid. But here's the absolute truth. You can officially stop the blame game today. Seriously, stop blaming your digital ad spend, and definitely stop blaming your sales team. The culprit here isn't a failure of effort at all. It's an invisible system failure. The real issue is the silent, totally unmanaged gap hiding right there between your two departments.
The friction actually starts with a really simple definition. Think about it. On side A, your marketing team defines a qualified lead as a family who has just hit submit on your website's contact form. Boom, they've captured the initial interest. But then look at side B, your admissions team. Well, they define a qualified lead as a family who is emotionally and logistically ready to physically walk through your doors for a tour. You see the problem? These are two completely different, distinct moments in the buyer's journey.
And so we arrive at the absolute crux of the issue, the gap. The unowned hours between a form fill and a booked tour, where move-ins are lost due to a lack of time standards and clear ownership. In most communities, nobody has actually defined what happens to that prospective family in those critical hours between filling out a form and being ready to tour. Who calls them? When do they call? What on earth happens on a Sunday? Well, that unowned space is exactly where your potential move-ins are just slipping right through the cracks. Section 2, the unowned handoff gap. To really understand why this gap is so incredibly deadly to your occupancy rates, we've got to step out of the boardroom for a second and step directly into the living room of a prospective family. Just picture this scenario with me. It's 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, an adult daughter is stressed, she's motivated, and after months of tossing and turning and worrying, she is finally ready to act. So she finds your community online, and she fills out your web form. Awesome, right? But hold on, here's the harsh reality check. She isn't just looking at you, she's actually filling out 3 forms simultaneously. One is for your facility, sure, but the other 2? They are for your biggest competitors, right then and there. You're in a silent, high-stakes race. Section 3, the 2-hour response window. Because she's reaching out to multiple places all at once, speed is literally everything. Let's walk through exactly how this timeline plays out. At minute 0, the form is submitted. The first 60 to 120 minutes, that is your golden window. A warm response here earns the tour. But right after that 2-hour mark, research shows that conversion rates just drop off a cliff. And if your team waits 24 hours to respond, say because it's a weekend, the probability of converting that inquiry into a move-in declines so dramatically it practically vanishes. Seriously, the lead is completely dead before you even get the chance to say hello. I actually want to read this quote to you directly because it hits the nail on the head. It's the absolute truth of this industry. The first community that responds in a personal, warm, specific way in the first 60 to 120 minutes earns the tour. Now notice, it doesn't just say response. No, it says personal, warm, and specific. It's that critical combination of lightning-fast speed with a deeply human touch that makes the ultimate difference. Section 4, the high cost of wait-hour. Up until now, we've kind of been talking about this gap as a bit of an abstract concept, right? A flaw in your systems. But I promise you, it has a very concrete, very painful price tag attached to it. $54,000 to $90,000. Wow, that is the actual calculable cost in annual revenue from losing just one potential move-in per month at a standard 48-unit assisted living facility. Just one single lost move-in per month. Let the reality of that math sink in for a second. And remember, that massive financial bleed, that is simply the annual cost of a handoff that nobody owns. That's it. It is not because your staff isn't caring enough, and it's definitely not because your facility isn't wonderful. No, it is purely the cost of an unowned system process floating around out there between marketing and admissions. Section 5. Closing the Gap Protocol. Okay, I'm definitely not going to just leave you with the problem. We need a concrete system to fix this broken handoff and reclaim all of that lost revenue. So here is the strict two-step protocol you need to implement. Step 1. Every single inquiry must receive a personal response within 10 minutes. Yep, 10 minutes. And yes, that absolutely includes that 8 p.m. Wednesday inquiry, and it 100% includes weekends. Whether you use a dedicated service or have on-call staff, those response times are non-negotiable. Then, step 2, that inquiry must be immediately flagged for formal admissions follow-up within that super critical 2-hour window. Now, you might be sitting there asking, okay, but why do we need to drop everything and fix this right now? Well, why now? Because mid-year is literally the highest return on investment moment to build this exact system. If you build the protocol to close this handoff gap in July, you successfully capture those previously lost move-ins for the entire second half of 2026. So really, the urgency here is entirely in your favor. If you are ready to stop guessing and actually want to find your blind spots, silvercore.io can help. They can show you exactly how many inquiries your community received last month that blew right past your 2-hour response window. It's eye-opening stuff. You can easily book a call or watch a demo over at silvercore.io to get your hands on that specific data. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought. Ask yourself, how many inquiries exceeded your 2-hour response window last month? And what did it really cost you? I highly encourage you to go dig up that number. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really hope this empowers you to get out there and close that gap.